How's it going, guys? It's K Cars, and in this video I wanted to address a question that quite a few people have been commenting on some of my previous videos, and that is why I don't actually work on my Jeep Cherokee XJ on my own. So just for reference here, if you guys are new to the channel, right here is my 2001 Jeep Cherokee XJ. I got this thing about a year and a half ago for around $3,500, and it's been pretty good to me so far. I really don't have any complaints. I have done a good bit of work to this thing on my own, and I also have given it to shops to do some bigger jobs like the lift kit and rust repairs. So in this video, I'm going to go over some of the reasons why I don't actually do too much work to this Jeep on my own, and then talk about some of the things that I have done on my own. Now, there's basically three reasons why I don't do like big jobs to my Jeep on my own. The first reason is knowledge or education or experience. The second reason is money, and the third reason is tools or, having a garage space. So I'm going to go over each one of those reasons in detail during this video. So just to start off here, like I said, this is a 2001, last year that they actually produced these XJs. And as you can see here, and as you're going to learn in this video, there has been a good amount of work that has gone into this Jeep to actually make it look pretty good. In my opinion, I do think it's pretty clean. It's actually getting pretty hard to find clean ones like this, especially during these days. A lot of the ones that you find on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist, for example, are all beat up, basically just rust buckets. It definitely did take a lot of work to actually get this Jeep to look clean, in my opinion. I definitely do like the look of this thing, and right now it's sitting on a 3-inch lift on 31-inch mud tires, as you guys can see right there. Now, the lift kit is actually one of those things that I did not install myself, and let me give you guys a closer look at what it looks like here. So right here, of course, we are on the front of the Jeep right here. There you can see the coil spring. You got the sway bar quick disconnects right there. We got the brand new shock. We got these extended brake lines right there as well. We can move to the front right here, and you guys can see right there we have a brand new steering stabilizer along with an adjustable track bar right there as well. And we also do have brand new control arms too. So this whole kit is made by Rusty's Off-Road, and this is their 3-inch advanced lift kit, and I'm pretty happy with how it's been holding up. Haven't had any issues with it yet, so let's go ahead and move to the back and see what it looks like here. So on the back here, you can see the brand new shocks right there, along with the brand new leaf springs. So this kit does have an option for an add-a-leaf, and I opted to just go with the full leaf springs. I heard that's definitely a better way to get a lift kit here, so that's what I chose to do. So like I said in the beginning of this video, the lift kit is one of those things that I did not install myself. I actually took it to a shop that I, trust pretty well. And one of the reasons for that is because I wanted to make sure that it was done right. So, taking it to a trusted shop to have it done by a professional who's been, doing this for years and has a bunch of experience installing lift kits, to me, I think that was just the better way for me to go. Considering that I don't really have much experience installing lift kits on Jeeps, I figured it would be best for me to go ahead and just take this Jeep to a shop and have it installed professionally. And then another reason for not installing it myself is that I don't have all the tools that are necessary to actually install a lift kit. And then another reason was that I didn't want it to take an insanely long time. Having it done by a shop with somebody who knows what he's doing, it took 3 days, 2 or 3 days maybe for the whole thing. And if I were to do it myself, it probably would have taken months for me to actually figure out like what I was doing. Might have even taken more money with the mistakes that I might have made and the tools that I would have needed to buy. And with that being said, back then, whenever I was getting this lift kit installed, I actually used my Jeep as a daily driver to get to and from work. So with my Jeep being down for, maybe months at a time while I was trying to get the lift kit installed, I would have trouble getting to work, I guess. So that's another reason why I didn't want to install it myself, is because I knew that it would take me a whole lot longer, and I didn't want my Jeep to be down and undrivable for that amount of time. Now, during this video, I don't want you guys to think that I'm being like negative in any kind of way. I'm just kind of giving you guys like my explanation for this question, I guess. Now, I did say that it might be more expensive if I were to do it myself, just because of the income that I might have lost for not being able to get to work, or more tools that I would have had to buy, or mistakes that I would have made. But if I did everything on my own and I knew what I was doing, then I would have saved around $800 in labor. So that's also one plus side. If I knew what I was doing, I had all the tools and time, then I definitely would have done it myself and I would have saved $800. But in my circumstances, I just thought it would have been a whole lot better to have it done professionally by somebody who knows what he's doing. So that's the whole reason for the lift kit. And then moving on to some of the rust repairs. So for the basic rust repairs, like just surface rust that was on the rocker panels, I did most of that myself, just like stuff that was on the door jambs. So I do have a few videos showing my process for rust removal and painting and all that stuff. If you guys want to check those out, they are on my channel. I have about like 2 videos for rust removal, I think. So basically what I did is I used a Dremel tool and just sanded off the surface rust. And then I used sandpaper to just sand it down even more and make the surface a little bit smoother. And after that, I cleaned it with like rubbing alcohol to make sure the paint and primer had a good surface to actually stick to. Then I applied the primer and then a few coats of paint and then the clear coat. So that was a pretty simple process. I did that myself. It wasn't too bad, but for the actual major rust repairs, like replacing full rocker panels or replacing like actual sheet metal that involves like welding and cutting metal, painting and stuff like that, I had that done at a body shop. Definitely wanted to get that done professionally because I have absolutely zero like welding or fabrication experience. So there's no way that I would have even like known where to start for doing that. So I definitely wanted to get that done professionally and at a body shop that I actually trusted to do that kind of work. Of course, once again, I definitely could have learned how to weld. I could have learned how to, cut metal properly and use all those different tools and, buy a welder and stuff like that. But once again, it probably would have taken a lot longer. I wouldn't have been able to work as much as I did. So in the end, I'm not really sure if I would have saved money if I would have taught myself to actually do all that work. But saying all this stuff, I definitely do think it would have been fun to learn. But in my circumstances, once again, I do think it was better for me to just let a professional shop do it and for me to do like the small things, like the small rust repairs and small maintenance and other repairs that I'll talk about as well. Now, the third and most recent time that I took this Jeep to a shop for work was actually to get most of the cooling parts replaced. So that was a few months ago, back whenever I posted some videos about having some overheating issues. So back then, as you guys saw, I did install the electric fan myself. That was a super easy job that I could do with minimal tools, with minimal space in a parking garage. But this point also brings me to the point that I wanted to make on the third reason why I don't do like major work to my Jeep. And that is because I just don't really have like a garage space or proper tools to actually do all this stuff. So now that I moved away and I'm in a, different state right now, I don't have access to a bunch of tools or a garage space or anything like that. If you guys have watched some of my previous videos, you know that I installed the bumper end caps in a parking garage. So of course all that is possible to do. It's just extremely inconvenient. And I also don't have a bunch of tools to access at any time that I want to. So it's just the inconvenience of kind of like having to work in a parking garage and not having access to a bunch of tools. And going back to the whole like cooling parts, I probably would have tried to do all the cooling parts myself if I did have access to an actual garage space where I could make sure my Jeep was safe, actually leave my Jeep there while I was working on it, and have access to a bunch of tools that I would need. So if I did have all of that, I probably would have tried to at least attempt to replace most of those cooling parts that I got replaced at the shop. I probably would have tried to do that myself and, learned as I go and make videos for you guys as well. So the whole reason for me not replacing all the cooling parts and just taking it to a shop instead was because it's super inconvenient to do stuff like that in a parking garage where, I don't really have access to all the tools that I would need. Now for the electric fan, that was super simple. All I needed was like, a ratchet and a socket. So minimal tools needed for that. So that's why I did that myself and made that video for you guys. But for everything else, I just didn't feel confident enough for me to be able to do that with minimal tools in a parking garage. So that's the whole reason for that. So those are kind of the 3 main reasons why I don't actually do like big jobs or like big work to my Jeep. So that's kind of how I like to think about these things. If I don't think I have the right experience, education, or if I just don't think that I'm going to be able to make enough time to actually put towards doing the work, then yeah, I'm definitely gonna take it to a professional shop and make sure it's done right. Now, when thinking about this, I also like to think of YouTubers like Cletus McFarland and TJ Hunt. Now, obviously, both of them, TJ and Cletus, both do a whole bunch of work on their own cars, but they also send some of their cars to other professional shops to do work for them as well. So, for example, we can look at Cletus McFarland's El Camino. He had that whole car built at a different professional shop while he was working on his other cars. So that's kind of just one example of, maybe he thought that he wouldn't be able to make enough time to build that car himself to be able to take to racing events. So he took it to a different shop to make sure it's done right and in time. Obviously, that's perfectly fine. I think, whatever he thinks is best for himself, that's what he's going to do. And if we look at TJ Hunt, for example, we can take his C8 as an example. He took that C8 to get his Street Hunter kit put on at a body shop. He had to meet the deadline of taking it to SEMA and maybe he thought he wouldn't be able to meet that deadline if he did the work himself. So he had it taken to a professional shop to make sure that it was done on time while he worked on his other vehicles. Obviously, like I said, they both do work on their own cars, but they also do outsource their vehicles to different professional shops as well. So that's kind of my whole reasoning of why I don't really do too much of the big jobs or like the big work on my own Jeep. And that's because I just don't really think I have the right experience, education, or I don't think I can make enough time to actually teach myself how to do it. And with all that being said, I don't really do all the big jobs or the big work on my Jeep, but I do some of the small jobs and small repairs and maintenance things. So for example, whenever I first got this Jeep, I replaced all the exterior lights with LEDs. Obviously, super easy thing to do. I also did the LED headlights. Then I also replaced all the fluids, filters, and stuff like that. I also did a few minor repairs, such as replacing the fuel vapor tube. I replaced the valve cover gasket, the PCV valves, some of the other tubes in the engine bay. So just little things like that are things that I feel that I'm comfortable with doing and confident with doing. But for the big jobs, like I said, I definitely do trust professional shops to do that more than myself. And if you guys want to see video tutorials on all the things that I've done to this Jeep, definitely check those out on my channel. I have, quite a few videos on, regular maintenance things, how to replace some of the fluids and filters, how to replace some of the, the valve cover gasket or the fuel vapor tube, like I mentioned. So I definitely do have a lot of these tutorials on my channel if you guys want to check those out. And those are all things that I have done myself. So in the future, I definitely am planning on getting my own garage space with a bunch of tools so I can actually, do more of the big jobs and big work on my Jeep and, make video tutorials for you guys. So that's definitely going to be a whole bunch of fun, and I hope you guys stick around until then. So yeah, guys, that's probably going to do it for this video. Like I said, I definitely don't want you guys to think that I was being negative or complaining about anything. I absolutely love working on this Jeep. I love owning this Jeep and just kind of seeing it evolve over the years. Taking my Jeep to a professional shop is definitely something that I think I will continue doing, just for those reasons that I mentioned in this video. But for the smaller things, like I mentioned, I definitely do think that I will continue doing those myself as well. Like I said, just wanted to make this quick video for you guys and answer that question, because I know a lot of you guys were commenting that on some of my previous videos, and you guys were probably, curious as to why I don't actually do all the work on my Jeep. So there's your answer. Hope you guys found that helpful. And like I said, definitely wasn't trying to be negative or complaining about anything. I absolutely love this Jeep. Obviously, if I didn't like it, then I wouldn't have it. So let me know what kind of XJ videos you guys would like to see in the future. And if you guys have any comments or questions, make sure to drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys have any video suggestions for videos you would like to see in the future, make sure to also drop those down in the comment section below. And if you guys like this video or found it entertaining, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching.